Have you ever felt that pressure at work, that moment where a small lie could solve a big problem? Let's talk about Sarah. She's just like you and me, an ordinary office worker, but she was facing an extraordinary situation. A huge project she was leading was on the brink of failure. Her team had poured months of effort into it, but the numbers just weren't adding up. The deadline was looming and the stress was almost unbearable. One afternoon, her boss called her into his office. The air was thick with tension. He looked at her, his expression grinned, and said, "Sarah, we can't afford this failure. I need you to adjust the numbers, just this once, make it look like we're on track. It's a small change, no one will get hurt, and it will save the project and our jobs." As Sarah walked back to her desk, her head was spinning. A little voice like a devil on her shoulder whispered, "He's right. Everyone fudges the numbers a little. It's just business. Think about your career, your promotion. This is your chance to secure your future. Don't be naive." The temptation was powerful. The thought of that promotion, the financial security, the respect from her colleagues, it was all so close. All it would take was one little lie. She sat there staring at the spreadsheet, the cursor blinking over the numbers that could make or break her career. The pressure was immense. Her bills were piling up, her rent was due, and this job was her lifeline. She imagined the relief of just changing a few cells, hitting save, and walking away from the problem. For a moment, it seemed like the only logical choice. The world seemed to operate on these little compromises, right? Who was she to be different? But then, as she stared at her computer screen, her background image caught her eye. It was a simple verse she had set months ago. "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." It was from the Bible, John 8:32. Suddenly, another thought broke through the noise of fear and ambition. She remembered a core belief she held dear: God loves the world. He loves everyone in it, including her colleagues, her boss, and the clients who would be affected by this lie. His way is the way of truth, not deceit. This thought wasn't a condemnation. It was a lifeline. It was a reminder that her worth wasn't tied to a project's success or promotion. It was a reminder that true freedom comes from living in integrity, not from cleverly navigating a web of lies. The voice of temptation promised security, but this deeper truth promised something more profound: freedom and peace. She realized that fudging the numbers wouldn't just be a small change on a spreadsheet. It would be a change in who she was. It would be choosing a cage of anxiety over the freedom of an honest heart. Feeling overwhelmed, Sarah knew she couldn't make this decision alone. She grabbed her keys and headed down to the parking garage. Sitting in her car, surrounded by the cold concrete, she felt completely isolated. She bowed her head over the steering wheel and began to pray. It wasn't a formal, eloquent prayer. It was raw and honest. "Lord," she whispered, her voice cracking, "I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm scared of losing my job, of disappointing everyone. But I'm more scared of disappointing you. I want to do the right thing, but I don't have the strength. Please be with me. Give me the courage to be honest, no matter the consequences. Help my words be filled with grace and truth. Guide me, Lord, I trust you." As she prayed, a strange thing happened. The crushing weight on her shoulders began to lift. It wasn't that the problem disappeared, but a quiet strength began to fill her heart. It was a warmth, a courage that felt like a fire being kindled within her. She realized she wasn't alone in that parking garage. She had invited God into her struggle, and He had met her there. With a newfound resolve, she took a deep breath, started her car, and drove back to the office. She knew what she had to do. The next morning was the big presentation. The conference room was filled with senior management, including her boss, who gave her a subtle, expectant nod. Her heart was pounding, but the peace from her prayer remained. When it was her turn to speak, she walked to the front of the room, took a deep breath, and looked everyone in the eye. "Good morning," she began. "I know we're here to review the final numbers for the project, and honestly, they're not where we wanted them to be." A murmur went through the room. She could feel her boss's glare. "We've faced some unexpected challenges, and despite our best efforts, we have fallen short of our initial targets. The projections you have in front of you," she said, gesturing to the reel, "unaltered data reflect the true status of the project." She laid it all out: the setbacks, the shortfalls, the honest reality. The room was silent. Her boss looked shocked, a mix of anger and disbelief on his face. Sarah braced for the worst. But then something unexpected happened. The CEO, a woman known for her tough but fair leadership, spoke up. "Thank you, Sarah," she said, her voice calm. "Thank you for your transparency. It takes guts to stand up here and tell the truth when it's not good news. She then turned to the room. Hiding this would have created a much bigger disaster down the line. Now that we know the real situation, we can actually solve the problem. The atmosphere in the room shifted from tense to collaborative. Instead of assigning blame, the team started brainstorming. A senior engineer pointed out a flaw in the initial plan that with the new data was now obvious. A marketing director suggested a new angle to pivot their strategy. Suddenly, the meeting was buzzing with energy and new ideas. A better, more realistic solution was born, one that would have been impossible if Sarah had presented a lie. Her honesty hadn't caused a disaster. It had created an opportunity. A few weeks later, Sarah was called into the CEO's office. She thought it might be a formal reprimand. Instead, the CEO smiled. "Sarah," she said, "I haven't forgotten what you did in that meeting. Your integrity under pressure is exactly the kind of leadership this company needs. We're restructuring the department and I want you to lead the new team. The promotion is yours." It was a real promotion earned not through deceit, but through integrity. Sarah was stunned. The very thing she was tempted to lie for had been given to her because she chose the truth. The outcome was better than anything she could have engineered on her own. Her relationship with her team became stronger than ever, built on a foundation of trust. She even had a quiet conversation with her boss, who admitted he'd been wrong to ask her to lie and respected her for her choice. Sarah's team thrived under her leadership. They became known not just for their results, but for their integrity. She often shared her story, not in a preachy way, but as a testament to how making the right choice, even when it's the hardest choice, can lead to unexpected blessings. She would tell them, "I was so scared, but I knew God was with me. He gave me the strength to be honest, and he turned a potential failure into a success." Her story inspired a culture of honesty throughout the company. So what can we learn from Sarah's story? It's a powerful reminder that we all face moments of choice. The world might tell you that you need to cut corners, bend the truth, or compromise your values to get ahead. It's easy to feel that pressure and believe that lie. But there is a better way. God loves you, and his desire is for you to walk in freedom and truth. Resisting the temptation to lie, especially when the stakes are high, is an act of faith. It's saying, "God, I trust your plan more than my own." And the Bible promises that God honors those who honor him. He sees your struggles. He hears your prayers. When you choose integrity, you are not choosing weakness. You are aligning yourself with the most powerful force in the universe. So the next time you face a choice between an easy lie and a hard truth, remember Sarah. Remember that true success and lasting peace are found in God's favor, not in worldly schemes. Have hope in his plan for your life. It is always better than you can imagine. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires faith in our daily lives. God bless.